Oftentimes when we talk about weather and climate, you may actually think that they're interchangeable, but that's not the case because there's a big difference between those two ideas, and that difference is going to be the timing. When we're talking about the weather, well, the weather first takes place in the atmosphere, but we're looking at a short-term time frame. So it could even be today's forecast when we're talking about sunshine. Could be your high or low temperatures that we expect in the coming week, or even a monthly outlook. We could be looking at even some scattered thunderstorms or even some snow. So those weather activities that happen in that shorter time frame is when we're talking about the weather. Now, when we're talking about climate, that's a little more long-term, but you do have to have the weather because what makes up climate is a sum of all of that weather data that we collect and put together. And then that's how we can describe a location, a place, or even a region. So we have to bring everything together to make up that location's climate. So that's how we come up with your average temperatures, by taking those daily weather recordings for highs and lows. Then we can plan on what we typically see in that area. Plus also that gives us a base. So then we'll know when we have variations, but also those extreme temperatures as well. Now this does also work for precipitation, rain or snow. And also in some locations, we can even monitor the cloud cover. Now let's practice though by taking a look at a couple of examples. Our first example is going to be a baseball game was rained out today. Is that an example of weather or climate? Well, our answer is going to be weather because we're talking about today. It's in the short term, and the weather is the rainfall. So that rainfall knocking out today's game, that's not going to equate to climate. Our second example is that July is Toledo's warmest month. Well, this would be an example of climate. Though we're talking about those warmer temperatures, we have to take that average to find out that typically we see those highs that are sizzling in the month of July. So over time, a long period is really what's going to make up that hot month and also that climate. Now our third and final example is that the highest temperature ever recorded in the local airport was yesterday's high of 105 degrees. Now this may be a trick because it's weather and climate. We're looking at the weather portion of this because we're talking about yesterday's high of 105 degrees. That's going to be in the short term, but yet it is also climate as well because we're comparing that to average temperatures, looking in that variation or even that extreme. So when you're talking about weather and climate, the biggest thing to remember is that the difference is going to be the time.